Okay, here's the deal. The first rule about switching, don't talk about switching. The second rule of switching, you got it, don't talk about switching. When you introduce the idea to someone that you're making a major pivot or you're making a career change, you're essentially saying, I'm not what you want, but I want to convince you now why I should be what you want. And why plant that seed to begin with when you just create a bigger hill for yourself to climb? So instead of introducing yourself to your network or to the person you're interviewing with as somebody who's making a pivot, use words like I'm looking to expand, or I'm looking to take my experience and broaden the context. I mean, use terms that show you're building upon the strengths that you bring and growing it to a new area, because I know it could feel like when you are making a pivot, you've had this identity, or you've had this title, or you've been associated with a company, and shedding that can feel a little bit vulnerable. And so you really want to hang on to all those aspects that feel comfortable, and all those accomplishments that have been your most impressive and have gotten you where you are today. But if you're looking to make a change, what got you where you are today may not be what gets you where you want to go. So you kind of have to shed that identity and look at your transferable skills, your transferable experiences, what you bring to the table, maybe some education and training, and really repackage them in a way that speaks to the hiring manager and basically says, I am the person who can get this job done. That's your role, to convince them. So once you start talking about being a switcher, you're actually giving them the opposite message. So really big part of making a successful switch is rebranding, looking at your background, picking those accomplishments and skills that are most relevant, not necessarily the ones that are most impressive. They may be one and the same, but they may not be. And those things can be really hard. No doubt they can be difficult because you're proud of them and they've gotten you this far. But if you're looking to make a switch, what you want to do is show how this is a natural progression based on what you bring from your background. And that may be stuff you did at volunteering, might be a side gig, might be a job you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It might be a project of your current role that's a much smaller piece, but all of those things count. And all of those things help you build the experience you need to be successful in a new role. So don't talk about switching when you're going to make a switch, but rather have the confidence in yourself that you can do this, and show the hiring manager that right from the get-go.